Woo! Woo! It's a cool night in Hot City. That's what I've nicknamed Canoga Park tonight. Hot City. So feel free to use that whenever you're talking about Canoga Park. Hot City. You think it'll stick? I don't think so. It's still like part of the porn. It's in the porn capital radius. So I think that's gonna stick more than Hot City. It can be applied though. It can be applied. Whew. Enough of that. I've been feeling pretty good lately, guys. I've been feeling pretty good. You don't have to give it up for that. That's just a general statement I'm making. I've been feeling pretty good. Feeling like I'm on the pathway to success. I recently got to I recently got to be in my second commercial ever. Thank you. I already feel like I've accomplished more than most people will accomplish in their lifetimes. Unless you're like a teacher or a physicist or a parent or really have any occupation. I feel like, okay, maybe, for a comic, it's a big deal, maybe. I don't know. Who knows where I'm going? The sky's the limit. That's what I'm saying. The sky's the limit. Here's what happened. A couple of weeks ago, I got a notice in my inbox. It said, "You have an audition for the role of man." I was like, oh shit. I'm a man. I can do this. I got this. I'm a man. I might have an ex-girlfriend who disagrees with that designation of me as a man. When she broke up with me, she said, I want to see what it would be like to date someone more masculine. So that's one strike against me. But you know what? I feel like a man, I feel like a man because, listen, I have a penis, and I will come to your house, and I will kill cockroaches. And I know that's not a definition of a man, Nowadays, all you have to do to be a man is say, I feel like a man. And I support that, because that's how I have to convince people I'm a man 100% of the time. So I was, feeling pretty good about it. I went in there, I went into that hot audition, that's what we call it in the biz. And I just showed them I was a man without, keeping my pants stayed on. And they bought it, They bought it. They were like, this guy's a man. And then I got a call, a couple of days later, sorry. I jumped ahead. A couple of days later, I got another email. It said, you have a callback for the role of man on Subway. They upped the ante, you guys. But I was ready for it, because you know what? I used to live in New York. I lived there for 11 years. I've been a man on a subway before, okay? I've been that man on Subway. So, they were in for it, They were in for a treat. I walked into that second audition, and I was a man on a subway, I sat down, I man-spreaded, and I just, pretended to fall asleep on people. Another one, they bought it again, guys. They bought it again. Professional man on Subway here as I've got the experience, I've got the experience. Then a couple of weeks later, I keep throwing extra time in. A couple of days later, couple of years later, I was on the set, finally shooting that commercial that they had just kept putting off. Year in and year out, they're like, you're going to be a man on a subway one day. Now, a couple of days later, I was on set as a man on Subway, And I started to have an existential crisis. Because as I said, I used to live in New York. I've been that man on a subway before. And I don't know how much you think I'm making as a man on a subway. Non-union, by the way. I've been a man on a subway, not in a union, so no problem. But I guarantee you, the money I made as a man on a subway was not as much as I was making by just being a regular person who lived in New York on a subway with a steady job. So I was like, am I doing the right thing? But at the same time, I'm like, I'm living my dream. My dream right now is to be a man on a subway. Because in Los Angeles, your dreams are whatever your opportunities are. And at that moment, my dream was to be a man on a subway. And if America has to fall in love with me as a man on a subway, that's how America's going to fall in love with me, you know? You know, I used to have another dream. That dream was to be an escalator man. A couple of years ago, I got a notice of a hot dish. Again, that's what we call it in the biz. And it said, Escalator Man. And I went into that hot dish to be an escalator man. And, you know, I was thinking about what my motivation was before I stepped into that casting director's office. I was like, what does an escalator man do? I know what a man is. I know what an escalator is. What makes an escalator man? What does a man do on an escalator that makes him an escalator man? Was I going to have to treat and respect women as equals while on that escalator? Because that's what a man does, whether he's on an escalator or not. Was I going to have to teach my son to treat and respect women as equals while on that escalator? Because listen, they didn't tell me I was going to have an escalator son, but I just thought, as an escalator man, that's what I would do if I ever became an escalator dad. Turns out you don't have to do any of those things to be an escalator man. All you have to do to be an escalator man is walk into that casting director's office. And when he starts going like this, he'll start moving his finger across your field of vision. Slowly. And he's going to want you to follow that finger. And pretend that that finger is Will Forte in a canoe. That's all you have to do to be an escalator man. And I am not cut out to be an escalator man, because I did not get that role. But you know what? I was a man on a subway, okay? So all I learned from that, and it's a valuable lesson, is that sometimes you have to be a man on a subway before you can be an escalator man. It's all about ascension, guys. So hopefully my next audition is man on flight, okay? Other good things happening lately. I recently broke a streak. I had gone more than a year without sex. Not on purpose. Not on purpose. But I say to you this, I was one of the good incels, okay? I was one of the good incels. In the year that I went without sex, the closest I came to having sex was I was watching a porn clip, and I recognized the house in the porn clip as the house that I've had Passover dinner in the last 4 years. The actor was hiding his afikoman where they hid the afikoman Passover. Still jealous of that house for all that action it was getting. Also in that year, in my desperation, I went to the Fleshlight website, just out of curiosity, you know. I want to see what was going on there, you know. I wasn't gonna buy one. Like, I don't want to spend $80 to masturbate extravagantly. I didn't deserve it, frankly. But you know, if you use the Honey Chrome extension, you can get one for $71. Just so you guys know. But while I was on that website, first of all, just so you know, the Destroyer is apparently the #1 rated one, if anyone was curious. But I went to the Fleshlight website to see, just to read the reviews, you know. I was curious, see what the experience was like. 2 reviews caught my interest. The first review said this, got one of these for my buddy. And he loved it. Listen, bravo to those guys for being so open with their sexuality. I wonder what that conversation was like. It was like, hey man, I noticed you haven't been having a lot of sex lately. Here's a portable vagina. I hear they're just like the real thing. Because women have vaginas and they walk around, so I guess it's a portable vagina. Have at it and let me know how it is, you know? And then a week later, he was like, it was great. And then the guy wrote a review. The second review that caught my interest wasn't really a review at all. It was just a guy who was in the wrong section of the website. He thought it was customer service. He just wrote, haven't got my Fleshlight yet. Here's my address. So I Googled the address, and because I wanted to see if he ended up getting his Fleshlight. I wanted to see maybe it was on the doorstep. Maybe I could zoom into the window and see if he had it on the wall mount. So I Googled the address, and turns out it was the house I've had Passover dinner in the last 4 years. All right, guys, I've been Evan Kessler. Give it up for Jessica.